My wife has been putting something in my coffee every morning for 6 months. I finally figured out what it is, and I don't know how to confront her about it. I never questioned why my coffee tasted slightly different after Sarah and I got married. She's always been the better cook between us, so I figured she'd just found some fancy creamer or aerated to better beans. But about 3 weeks ago, I started noticing other changes. I was sleeping way better than I had in years. My chronic back pain from an old sports injury was basically gone. I had more energy during the day and felt generally happier. At first, I thought it was just the honeymoon phase, new marriage, new life, all that. But the changes were too consistent, too physical. Last Monday, I woke up early and decided to surprise Sarah by making coffee for both of us. When I went to grab our usual coffee supplies, I noticed a small, unmarked bottle tucked behind the sugar container. I opened it and found white powder inside. No label, no indication of what it was. My first thought was the worst one. Was my wife drugging me? I felt sick to my stomach, but I forced myself to stay calm and think rationally. I took a tiny sample of the powder and Googled how to identify unknown substances. Everything online said to take it to a pharmacy or police station, which seemed extreme, but I was genuinely scared. I spent the whole day at work obsessing over it. Sarah had been making my coffee every morning for months. She'd insist on it, actually always saying she wanted to do something nice for me before I left for work. That evening, I watched her make my coffee like always. She waited until I was showering to add whatever was in that bottle. When I came back to the kitchen, she handed me my mug with the biggest smile. "Your favorite," she said, kissing my cheek. I couldn't drink it. I made an excuse about being too tired and went to bed early the next day. I called in sick to work and drove to a pharmacy across town where nobody knew me. I explained to the pharmacist that I'd found an unknown powder and was concerned about what it might be. He was really understanding and said he'd run a quick test to see if it matched any common medications. 20 minutes later, he came back with results. "It's Tramadol," he said, "a prescription pain medication, pretty strong stuff. Are you taking this for an injury?" I told him no, that I'd found it and wasn't sure what it was. He looked concerned and asked if I thought someone might be giving it to me without my knowledge. When I nodded, his expression got very serious. "That's illegal," he said, "and dangerous. Tramadol can interact with other medications or cause serious side effects if not properly monitored." I drove home feeling completely lost. My wife had been giving me prescription pain medication without my knowledge for months. But here's the thing that's messing with my head. It was actually helping me. My back pain was gone. I was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. I felt better physically than I had since college that night. I confronted Sarah. I showed her the bottle and asked her to explain. She broke down immediately, stumbled, crying and apologizing, saying she knew it was wrong, but she couldn't stand watching me in pain anymore. "You complained about your back every single day," she said through tears. "You were taking so much ibuprofen it was going to damage your liver. You couldn't sleep because of the pain. I just wanted to help you." She explained that her mom had leftover Tramadol from a surgery and had suggested it might help my chronic pain. Sarah had been grinding up the pills and putting small amounts in my coffee, hoping I'd feel better. "I was going to tell you," she insisted. "I wanted to see if it helped first, then suggest you talk to a doctor about getting your own prescription." I didn't know how to react. On one hand, she'd been drugging me without my consent for months. That's incredibly violating and potentially dangerous. On the other hand, she was right about everything. I'd been in constant pain. I was taking dangerous amounts of over-the-counter pain meds. I was miserable and affecting a relationship because I was always uncomfortable, and her solution had actually worked. I felt better than I had in years, but the method was completely wrong. She could have seriously hurt me. What if I'd had an allergic reaction? What if it had interacted with something else I was taking? We've been sleeping in separate rooms for 3 days now while I figure out how I feel about this. Sarah keeps apologizing and saying she understands if I want to leave her. Part of me is furious about the violation of trust. Part of me is grateful that she cared enough to want to help me, even if she went about it wrong. I've made an appointment with my doctor to discuss legitimate pain management options, but I still don't know how to move forward with Sarah. Is this something a marriage can recover from? How do you rebuild trust?